Hey guys, I just got back from Gillette, Wyoming, and I had a chance out at the High Bar Homestead to sling lead out to a freaking mile. And it was amazing, and also amazingly humbling. But one of the things that I thought was really interesting that a lot of people have never really touched on is the fact that shooting out to 1,000 yards, really not that difficult. But I'm gonna put a little asterisk there, because I know some of you are going, oh, that's crazy. Hear me out. It's not that it's not difficult in terms of just, if you had to guesstimate and put a round on target. It's very, very easy when every aspect of it is known. So you have a known size target at a known distance, you have the ballistic coefficient for your cartridge, and you have a quality spotting scope and a trained spotter right next to you. Basically, when everything is known and it's calculated, it's very easy just to simply line up the crosshair, get your holdover, gently squeeze that trigger, let the round fly. Obviously, right? I mean, hell, accurate shooting is simply the elimination of variables and the pursuit of consistency. But like I said before, the most difficult time I had there was at their unknown distance range. So we had these targets of all different shapes and sizes at completely different distances, and that was really, really difficult. Now, adding on to that, it was the fact that we were shooting at an elevated position. So even if you had your ballistic coefficient or your bullet drop, your dope, you still had to account for the fact that, well, you're actually above the target. So sometimes you don't need to actually aim above the target, but actually aim beneath it, because that trajectory, you're working with gravity, so you're having less drop, right? It's not so much that the round is dropping at a different rate than normal, so much as that its velocity is being assisted by gravity itself. Now, like I was saying before, this is nothing revolutionary, right? But I've had people tell me already that I'm out of my mind. Now, yes, I did manage to hit the target at a mile, but by no means was it on the first shot. And what's really, really spectacular about that is it was done with a stock PSA AR-10 chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor. Now, again, I had a quality spotter. We had excellent glass on the rifle. The ammunition was really, really nice. It was Hornady match grade ammunition. Additionally, I also had one of the guys from PSA spotting for me. Now, it was especially difficult that day because unlike shooting at a known distance normally and at a static range, your target's not moving. You know your distance to your target, you know your holdover, you know your dope. In this instance, we were actually battling crosswinds and a storm that was coming in from behind us. So at certain points, you could see the grass in the distance kind of swooping underneath the round and giving the round a little more gas, so to speak. And other times, the wind would shift after I sent the bullet. So what am I getting at? Well, here's the thing, right? I heard a lot of people accuse me and accuse them of basically being shills for the company and saying that, oh, that was a hand-picked rifle that you shot that target. There's no way you hit it with a stock rifle. 6.5 Creedmoor is a very, very accurate round and has an excellent ballistic coefficient, so you're not going to be battling drag the same way you would be with, say, a 308. The thing is, despite people talking so much smack about the guns, the barrels on these rifles have proven extraordinarily accurate. I mean, I was using either a 10 or 12-inch barreled 6.5 Grendel as well out of a pistol, and I was hitting targets out to 300 and 400 yards like every single time. And that was on an unknown distance target of unknown size. There's a different sort of skill set to it, where I believe that shooting at a gun range with controlled targets is very much a science, right? But I would say that shooting at an unknown distance at an unknown size target is more of a combination of science, technical skill, and artistry. It's like the old Kentucky windage, but it's obviously more scientific than that. So what's my point? Well, a lot of people talk a lot of crap about these guns, and they say they're not that great, they're not that accurate, they're not that reliable. I can tell you that's completely false because well before I was a gun writer, the first AR I ever put together with a lower that I bought myself was a PSA. Before that, I had a Bushmaster that was a pre-ban that I spent way too much money on because I lived in Massachusetts. But now that I'm in South Carolina, I can buy whatever I want. And now that I'm a gun writer, I have access to pretty much anything I want. But I still have piles of PSA lowers. Why? Because they're mil-spec, because they're inexpensive, and why not? If I want to build something new, I can just toss it on there. But it's not just their lowers that are high quality. I've heard a lot of guys say, yeah, they make their lowers are okay, but the uppers aren't so great. Not true at all. Like I said, that 6.5 Creedmoor, we were getting sub-MOA groups, out all day. I mean, if we weren't, there's no way we would have been ever able to put rounds on target, rather, at a freaking mile. It's one of those things people just grossly underestimate the quality of these rifles just because they have a lower price tag. PSA doesn't make their guns inexpensive by making them cheap. They make their guns inexpensive by producing so freaking many of them. The whole Arsenal of Democracy style in World War II. Sherman tanks, were they as nice as the German tanks? No. Was their quality control the same? Pretty close. I mean, was the Garand a bad rifle because it was made by Americans and made in huge numbers that were arguably was less expensive to produce, at least at some point, than German rifles? No, it's just the economy of scale. Anyway, tell me what you guys think. Tell me about your positive or negative experiences with PSA. I want to hear what you guys think about what I just recently said. And is it true? Is it shooting at a known distance? Is it really that easy? Am I kind of underwhelming you or kind of underselling it? Is it actually pretty damn difficult, or am I spot on in that slamming steel at a mile ain't that much work with the right cartridge and everything else? I can tell you, at the very least, when I had a chance to shoot a custom rifle in 26 Nosler, shooting a steel target at a mile was a joke. It was like shooting a laser beam there. It was just like, snap your finger and it's there. It was pretty cool. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, and you guessed it, subscribe for more burst reviews.